So, good morning, everybody. So, we seem to be going in the right direction here. As of today, we have 1,754 positive cases of the coronavirus, up 7 from yesterday. We have 725 people under mandatory quarantine. That's down 44 from yesterday, and which is all good stuff. And then out of the 4,688 people that have completed quarantine, 1,382 tested positive for the virus and have recovered. That's 19 more today, which is also good news. Some really good news is our hospitalization is down to 18. It's been the lowest it's been in a while. So with the hospitalization rate of 1.02% that have tested positive, and yesterday the rate was at 1.2%. Unfortunately, we still have one person in the ICU that stays the same as yesterday, and for a 5-day average, it's 13.6, which is all good stuff going in the right direction. Also want to say thank you to all the essential workers that are out there, and to all the new people that have come out and that are coming back to work for the first time in almost 13 weeks, 86 days, who's counting. And welcome back, and hopefully you see a whole new world out there and be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I'll say this to you, your input helps, so you're going to be fresh eyes for us out there. So if you see something wrong, please report it to us. Go to the state dashboard, report it to New York Paws. Your safety and health is first and foremost with us, so we want to make sure that not just here in Albany County we're doing it right in our county buildings, but other companies that have opened up are doing it right. And I know there's a mad rush to all the barbershops and salons, so hopefully that goes in an easy manner going forward. As always, I want to remember people about our mobile testing. That was a huge success. We're the first ones in the state of New York to do it. But I put a letter out last Friday. I put an email out to the Black Caucus, legislators, common council members, to the city auditor, to everyone, to all the pastors looking for help. We need to get the numbers up. The number's been really low. We need to test more people in the community so we can get a scientific approach to this, to see what the underlying issues are, so we go forward. So we need your help. We need your help. And we need to get more people there and make them more aware of it and get them to fill out the application online or the process to get tested. So please help us do that. And I want to thank Albany Housing as always. But the mobile testing site number is area code 518-465-4771. And for the essential workers, you can always call the New York State line. It's at 1-888-364-3065, or you can go online for the UAlbany Essential Testing at the Seth-Q Arena and the drive-through. So, and also our good partner there in Gilliland, Priority One Urgent Care, so you can go there. And on the Rite Aid, as always, you can go to the Rite Aid online and do our drive-through in Colony. So just keep that in mind. But as of this week through Thursday, the governor is providing free antibody testing for food delivery and restaurant workers at the Seth-Q Arena. And as always, I said yesterday, you have to go on the Western Avenue side between 10 a.m. and 5:30, and there's no appointment needed. So if you're in the area and you get a chance, please, by all means, swing in there. It does not take long to get it done. So we're all excited. We're in a phase 2 now, and we're getting there, and we're starting to step in the right direction. So I know people are excited about phase 2 as we start to see a larger portion of our jobs coming back, businesses opening up and feeling some type of normalcy and people getting out. But I just want to put out there again, I know the companies out there know they've done what they had to do to get online, get their certificates from the state dashboard, and get their safety protocols in place. Not just for the state of New York, but for OSHA and everyone else, to make sure we're doing this in the right way. But phase 2 of reopening in the capital region economy, the largest portion of our jobs. This means office jobs can reopen, including nonprofits, technology, administrative support, and higher education administration. real estate appraisals to residents' property management, sales for people and brokers, building inspectors, appraisals, all that stuff can start. Vehicle sales, leases, rentals, electronics, other things like that, clothing and cleaning services, all are under phase 2. So please go to our website or go to the state website to see the whole list of that. One of the things I did address, Paramount, I know, put a letter out. They want to open up their mall. Colony Center wants to open inside of their mall, but right now under phase 2, it's the outside businesses that are attached to Colony Center and to Cross Gates for people to go into, but the malls are not opened up yet. We have pushed that up to the control room, and I'll be talking to the control room today and General Murphy to see whether or not we can change that in phase 2 if we got to wait to phase 3. So I understand the questions they have on that. But again, I know you got a lot of business inside. They have a great safety plan, how to address it. So we look forward to try to see if we can get you the answer for that. Not included in phase 2, this is a question we were getting from people in the office. Tanning in nail salons, which I brought up the nail salons yesterday. Tattoo shops, gyms, and again, malls, which I just mentioned. So that is not included in phase 2. So just keep that in mind. We're still, getting guidance from the governor's office on a lot of this stuff as we move forward. DMV was a big question yesterday. Obviously, I know there's a lot of people, listen, you're not going to get a ticket for having your car not being inspected or the registration being outdated. They know this, they're aware of this, so that will be addressed. I know DMVs are going to be opening up not for appointments only, online service, most of it. Here in Albany County, the state runs our DMV. Rensselaer County, it's run by the county. So if you have a DMV that's run by that county, they have different guidance which they can follow versus us because the state runs all the DMV here. But they will be opened up. We got an email today for online services and stuff like that, so that you'll be able to do that. I know there's kids out there looking for their permits. I know there's kids out there that want to get their driver's license. So there's a lot of questions on that. That was one that Steve McLaughlin brought up yesterday, because the State Department, even though that Rensselaer County has their own DMV, the state comes in and proctors the test for driving. So that was a question that was addressed, and I know these are the things we want to get back to the norm, which I understand. So in order for us to get to phase 3, which will be June 17th, some of the things that will be included will be restaurants and food services, and the food services make up nearly 14,500 jobs here in Albany County in 2019, which includes hotels and different establishments. So we want to get to phase 3, trust me, and we want to get our restaurant workers back, and we want to get the restaurants opened up. And I know Allen Street Dining has been a huge push from a lot of people. People want it. The weather's nice, and they're saying, why can't you close down streets and put tables out there? TU reporter covered it. Barnes, the reporter for the food and restaurants, early on, and it's, believe it or not, it's up there at the top of the list too. So keep that in mind. And when we get to phase 4, that includes about another 25,000 jobs. And it's the economy sector, such as big parts of which Albany County is unique for, and aspects like that. So I thought, who better than to have come on and talk about phase 2, and then what we can open in phase 2, going into phase 3. But Andrew Kennedy, who is president and CEO of the Center for Economic Growth, so he's here to talk about the challenges for companies, the changes they're facing, and what they're kind of look like going forward, and some of the questions he's dealing with. Andrew.
All right, thank you, County Executive. The past 3 months have been unprecedented from an economic standpoint and from a public health one. But here in Albany County, we're fortunate to have a chief executive who's looked through all of the data, and able to help make sound decisions to respond to this public health crisis and develop a sound reopening strategy for for Albany County and the capital region. Data, as the county executive mentioned, is what's going to guide our reopening and ensure that we continue to hit the other milestones as part of the phases 3 and 4 as we go forward. But let's just take a step back and take a look at the impact this has had on the capital region's economy. Our economy was at a high point in mid-March prior to the pandemic being declared. Our 8-county region labor force from Columbia and Greene all the way up to Warren and Washington was in a 7-month expansion. Before March, the region's unemployment insurance beneficiaries had declined for over 14 consecutive months. Again, we saw this, and it wasn't enough to stop and hit that momentum where we did see unemployment at close to 13% in April, far above its highest point in the last 10 years, which was February of 2012 of 8.5%. We've had close to 70,000 unemployed workers within the region. And we've seen that companies are not hiring, yet there are still companies looking to hire, with close to 3,500 jobs available, but that's down 14% from where it was in the highlight of March. And then we're also seeing the impact it has on our networks, be it our Amtrak stations across the river, our impacts of the Albany International Airport, and the use of our public transportation system. But again, CEG, as that regional economic development organization, we have not slowed down. We have worked with our partners across government to respond to the emerging issues that the business communities were facing by this. And now, as the economy begins to reopen, we continue to be that recovery resource for them. So a few things that we've been doing and how we've been able to assist and help companies be able to pivot and adapt to all of this is that we've worked, through our role as a manufacturing extension partner here within the region in partnership with the state. We've worked with more than 60 manufacturers to help them pivot or address some of the issues that require them to reopen as essential businesses, from anywhere to finding the adequate PPE that they need, to the various restart plans that they need. Specific companies that we worked with here within the county include PVA up in Cohoes to help them get that expedited FDA approval for the emergency ventilator. We've worked with the Center of Gravity, Benet Labs, to help produce face shields for our first responders. We're also working with companies like Mohawk Paper and ComfortTex as they begin to pivot to make some of those PPE requirements. And then we've developed programs to provide guidance to our companies. We've launched a $150,000 Urban Core Grant Program in partnership with KeyBank to support our small minority women-owned businesses in our urban cores throughout the region. We've launched a manufacturing restart program, which allows companies and chief executives to understand what is required to reopen, cutting through all of the noise and all of the different information that you're getting from state, federal leaders on what are those requirements in order to reopen. So it enables that peer-to-peer communication, documents to source PPE, which are the requirements of reopening, helping ensure that they have sanitizers in common areas, providing appropriate signage, to ensure the adequate health and safety distance, the thermostat readings, the temperature checks that are required, and other safety issues to make sure that people are, the workers are safe and secure as they come back to work. And then just linking to all the various and approved public health documents, whether or not it's the CDC website, the Department of Health at both the county, state, and federal level, and then the New York Forward website, which provides the template and guidance for us to open. And then more importantly, the safety checklist that each of those industries are going to be required to do, because each industry has a different set of standards, each industry has a different set. But again, we've created these resources, created these tools, and encouraging businesses to go online, looking at resources that exist at the state level through the New York Forward website, here at the county website, the CEG website, and the variety of different chambers of commerce throughout the region to help provide guidance to those businesses as they move forward. A few other key pieces as we move into this phase 2, which we're excited for. We want to see that world returning to what we knew prior to all of this in early March. But we have to recognize it will be different, and in some cases it may be awkward for individuals, but we have to follow and maintain these public health guidelines in order to make sure that we can continue to move to the additional phases of the reopening. We won't be able to see the full economic impacts of this phase until later this summer, but again, it's as long as we continue to do this, we continue to be smart, we continue to access the resources that have been made available, through our governmental partners, we can press forward, and we do have a solid plan, that enables the county and the region to recover. I think, as we move forward, we have to, trust our leaders. and work collaboratively. So, and I think through the efforts over the shutdown over the last 86 days, as well as the things that have happened over the last 10 days, I think our public leaders have earned that trust and earned our respect and earned our ability to listen to them. And then as we go forward, the Center for Economic Growth has been a nonprofit serving the Capital Region for over 30 years, where we focus on attracting new businesses to the region. We have pivoted to help our local businesses address, and deal with this public health crisis, providing them the resources that they can, operate more effectively and efficiently while adhering to all of these new safety guidelines, providing, being a resource, providing some coach, some mentorship, some communications, for businesses that are struggling with, the impacts that this has had on their financials as well as the impact that it had on their employees. And then providing assistance, to companies that, are in a position where they need to continue to grow and meet their needs, because again, they're producing something, they're producing essential items that are needed to enable our economy and our businesses to continue to grow. And we want to help connect and make sure that people are aware of the resources that exist here within the Capital Region community. And again, I think, as we move forward, this region, as compared to other areas in upstate New York, has been more resilient. We've weathered these storms better than other areas because, in the past, you look at it over the last, generation, our unemployment average has been lower than the national average for the last 25 years. That's something to be proud of. That's something that speaks to the diversity of our economy and the strength of our economy and the ability of our businesses and our leaders to move us forward and not get stuck behind as so many other communities have done. And while we're all not be able to predict what the future will look like, we can just say that the Capital Region will be stronger in the future, and we will, come out, more secure, more safer, and more prosperous.
Thank you. And I don't know if you've been getting this question. We still get this. People inquire all the time. Does the work have to provide masks for them when they come back?
Yes, I think some of the requirements are employers are required to provide their employees with masks. I think one of the interesting things that we're going to be, dealing with now is that, you've got, many businesses that operate within lease space in commercial office buildings, whether or not it's, here in the downtown core or in our suburban office parks, and then, in addition, what other steps are the building management taking to secure outside of the office suite? One of the things that we're, continuing to work on and advise businesses on is developing protocols that protects their employees as they return to work inside the office space, but also ensuring that they have the appropriate protections once they leave the office space. And those protections are going to be, not only before they even come to work, the sort of assessment and pre-screening that's required. Each employer needs to, figure out what works best for them in their organization, whether or not it's similar to what we have here in public office buildings where there are mandatory temperature checks, or is it a self-assessment that the individual does before they come into the office? Other requirements that are going to be needed to ensure that as you come back into the office, it's not as it used to be prior to mid-March. It's not hanging out in in cubicles and talking and sharing the break room. Those things are going to have to be limited, and those are protocols that employers are going to have to put into place to ensure their employees are safe and secure. So what that means is, you're bringing in your lunch, you're sitting at your desk, you're taking your lunch home, you're not washing it in the break room. You're ensuring that you're not having a we have to, a lot of organizations have to address the coffee, the water cooler and the coffee maker. Is that going out encouraging people to come in and bring that in? But so, some of those shared equipment and things like that, pose a public health risk as we move forward. And those are things individual employers as well as the building management have to address, to ensure that we can not only get to above, get back to normal where we are seeing companies and businesses get beyond that 50% in the future.
And one of the questions I keep continuing to get is like, how long do we start to, when we open up, is the economy going to come back? How quick are jobs going to come back? And one of the things I've talked to people about is, if you look at the recession of 08, 09, it was about it took 5 to 7 years to really bounce back. And though a lot of jobs were created, there were lesser paying than the jobs we lost. That's a question we get all the time. I can't answer that. As new companies come online and we lose companies that are never going to get back online, where's that pay go? I don't know if you have an insight on that or.
And I think that's one of the things that we're seeing through our partners at the community colleges, as well as opportunities with various groups where there are retraining opportunities that exist for individuals, because again, certain industries are not going to come back as quickly as others. So there are these resources that are available to get people the right sort of reskilling, upskilling that they need in order to take advantage of the jobs that are coming back. Again, this region has always been successful because again we've had a strong manufacturing base. Manufacturing has not missed a beat while it's down. In their production and their employment levels, it's not it's something that they can continue to be resilient on. We continue to see stories about how certain tech companies and other service sector businesses are continuing to adapt and address the issues. But again, I think it's encouraging individuals to look at some of the programs that exist, whether or not it's through our distance learning through our academic institutions, be it at the high school level, the secondary education partnerships and new initiatives that colleges like Hudson Valley and SUNY Schenectady are doing to require people not to matriculate and get into a degree track program where it's over a short period of time to get those right sort of skills to take advantage of the jobs that are existing and are going to be hiring over the summer and in the next few months.
Thank you. And one of the things, dealing with my own son who lives in Boston and working from home since it started, he was notified that his company's probably not coming back in September, that they're going to continue working at home, and you're going to see the norm and of that happening with a lot of companies. They're going to realize that they can get work done remotely and they don't need to rent the space, which it does have an impact on downtown Albany, Schenectady, Rensselaer County, because obviously when the people come down to the office space, they shop locally, they go to the restaurants and coffee shops, so that does have an impact. So that's going to change too as we go forward, and something that we have to change with the times. But that being said, as always, we have our mental health hotline support available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The number is 518-269-6634. Again, the number is 518-269-6634. Want to remind people, I know it's a little bit different out there now. Things are changing. We're in phase 2, so some people that have been home for 13 weeks are now out. That's there for you. Call it. Don't feel like you can't call it, and I don't care if you think it's if you don't think it's a great question to ask or you're having a little anxiety, please call the number. They're there for you. Our sexual assault hotline, as always, is area code 518-447-7716. And as always, the 211 and the 888-364-3065, the New York State hotline. Again, I know everybody, I want to say is that I know things are changing out there. Enjoy what's out there and being out of the house, but continue to socially distance, continue to wear your mask in public, continue to cough into your arm, continue to clean your hands. And the other thing I want to put out there is for all the essential workers that have been dealing around the clock, public, the police officers and firefighters and first responders, Dr. Whalen and them set it up in Mayor Sheehan in our office they have priority to go to UAlbany to get checked if they feel they should. We feel you should, just to be precautionary. You should go and just make sure that you didn't get exposed to anything.